Hey, looks like that we're here. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Hyland, a longtime member of the On Purpose Woman global community, and I'm filling in, if anyone can fill in, for our founder, Jenny Robertson. So I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman global community. We have already been together for a little over an hour in rich conversation and sharing. And now we turn our attention to our speaker. Sandy Travis Bildahl is speaking on Stand Up and Shine, the confidence, charisma, courage, connection. So I'm going to just tell you a few things about Sandy before I turn this over to her. Sandy Travis Bildahl is a certified emotional intelligence and business coach. She's the author of the bestseller Bravery Becomes You, On the Road to Fearless and Free, and she is an inspirational speaker. She believes that when bravery becomes you, fears that stop you are replaced with the bliss of living life on your terms. Awakening your own inner compass makes direction to the future clear and vibrant. The power of stories to create life-transforming change, as well as deep connections with others, has been Sandy's passion throughout her 20-year entrepreneurial career. She loves the wonder of adventure, being scared, and living brave. Her website is Bravery Becomes You. All right, Sandy, I'm going to turn it over to you. I feel like even just saying the words, bravery becomes you, I'm feeling the bravery pulsing through me. So turn it over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And it feels so good to be here talking to you about my favorite subject, bravery. And I wanted to say I'm Sandy Travis Bildahl, and I am a recovering scaredy cat. Because once I realized the effect that fear was having on what I really want to do in my life, I knew something had to change. And so that's when I discovered Bravery Becomes You, as well as what it means to stand up and shine with confidence, clarity, and courage. And so once I discovered that, I was on my road to change. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So I want to talk to you about those three things. And I want to share with you a success strategy that I use every day that helps me to be brave. And I will share with you that later. And so what I want to do is I want to start with one of my favorite scaredy cat stories. And that story begins many years ago when I was in New York City, and I had arrived and I felt like I'm ready to shine. And all of a sudden I was invited to events and I was invited to parties, and things didn't really work out as I had planned, because I found myself at parties being completely silent. And I discovered that I was afraid to talk. And so that I would go for an entire evening and I wouldn't say a word. And if I got to the point where it felt awkward that I hadn't talked for an entire evening, I would realize that if all of a sudden I started to talk, that would be just as awkward as not talking at all. And so in that moment and in those experiences, fear clearly stopped me. My scared being was activated, and that was that. And so then I forward to last year at exactly this time, and I was about to get on stage at Ignite Annapolis and stand up in front of 800 people and share my bravery story. And at that point, I was ready. I was ready to shine. I was so proud of the courage that I had said yes, and that I was willing to stand up and take this chance. And I had confidence. I had practiced more than I ever thought was possible. And as for charisma, I was really hoping that the message that I had to share would really have impact the audience in a positive way. And so at the moment, I was also the very first speaker of the event. So I found myself standing in the curtain, waiting to go on backstage, and I could feel the adrenaline start to pump in my body. And I thought, okay, well, I can deal with this. I feel excited and I understand what's going on. And all of a sudden, the adrenaline started to get worse. And as it got worse, I could just hear my brave voice click in with, what if you forget what you're saying? What if this was a talk where you had 5 minutes and 20 slides and 15 seconds a slide, and they changed whether you were ready or not. So there was an additional pressure of, what if I lose track? What if I say the wrong thing for the wrong slide? What if this whole thing is a disaster? I only have 5 minutes. And at that moment, I just had to have my bravery kick in and say, you got to stop this. This is fear talking. You are ready. This is what I like to always say. This is an experiment in being who you want to be. And I stepped out on that stage. I did one other thing. I just thought I have to get rid of this level of fear. And just instinctively, I just took my arms and pushed away the energy of what that fear was doing to me. And so I still had adrenaline, but I stepped on that stage, and it really turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life. And it was just, and it just confirmed everything that I had gone through to get there, and how this is really how I wanted to be. And that when bravery becomes you, anything is possible. And that also includes whether you succeed or you fail. It's about being truthful with yourself and authentic with the message you want to create, but also, in terms of where you are in the process. There's no guarantee that with how anything is ever going to turn out. And so that was a big wake-up call for me to have that wonderful experience. And it really confirmed this message of bravery and of how much fear does control my life. And I really got a bird's eye view of that as well when I have talked about this before. I went on my 6-week camping road trip with my son, slept in the middle of nowhere, and I have never camped in my entire life. And so I came face to face with how much fear really is present all the time. Fear is always talking to me in the back of my mind. But on that journey for 6 weeks, I also had the opportunity to experience bravery every single day. And by the end of the 6 weeks, what I had learned is that bravery overrides fear. And I also had learned that the more you're brave, the more you want to be brave. And if you do that enough and you practice bravery on repeat, eventually bravery becomes you, and that yields unstoppable confidence. And I think, as we all know, nothing feels better or looks better than confidence, which again, then turns into what charisma is and the possibility of having effect of what you want to say in the world. And so, once I discovered all that, I realized that I need to keep bravery alive every day, because fear is always present. And bravery is the one thing you can use on a regular basis, and courage, to keep fear as where it needs to be. Fear has value in keeping you safe, but fear has a one-track mind, and it considers anytime you want to change or anytime you want to grow, that is moving into unknown territory, because no one knows the outcome. And then all of a sudden, fear likes to talk a lot because it doesn't feel safe. So what I created for myself, and what I want to share with you today, is that I have a strategy when I wake up in the morning that really puts me on the right track. And I created this strategy for me, the recovering scaredy cat, because what I do in the morning is that I practice bravery without being scared. And, it always seems like people think, oh, to be brave, that's such a big thing to do. It's really a little thing that's a little thing that you can do to activate what you want to do all day long, so that you make sure that you're staying true to yourself and doing what you really want to do. So I'm going to share that with you now. And so the first thing I do when I wake up is I take a couple of moments for myself. And this is separate than if you meditate. And I sometimes like to do that in the morning as well. But this couple of minutes is really just about taking time to connect with yourself, say hello to yourself, and honor yourself. And there's really nothing you need to say or think about or do. It's just feeling the warmth of that connection, and that you are there and you have value, and what you want to do next is important to you. So that's how I start. And 1 to 3 minutes is plenty to just have that lovely, it's a lovely connection. And then the next thing that I do is I take that connection and I add intention to it. And so I go through a ritual of saying to myself, hello, good morning. And today I am brave. Today I have the courage to be who I want to be. And I am going to enjoy the adventure of being me, no matter what comes my way. And that the day is mine to experience, and it's an experiment, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then I take that intention, and my next step is, well, I suppose, brushing my teeth. And as I'm brushing my teeth, I do the same thing again. Now I make a commitment to that intention. So I look at myself in the mirror and I say, good morning. Today I'm going to have the courage to be brave. I'm going to enjoy the adventure of being me in my life, no matter what comes my way, whether it's good, what I want, whether it's opportunity, whether it's failure. It's all part of my great adventure and my story, and I want to enjoy it. And today I'm going to have the courage to be brave. And so those are the first 3 things that I do. So I honor myself, and I have an intention, and then I make the commitment. And then the next thing that I do, and it's just it's something you can do if you want, but right after you've brushed your teeth, if you want, you can pick up your phone and take a quick little selfie movie, a video of yourself with the date, say the date, and just to say whatever you want. Today, I'm going to have courage to be brave. Today, I'm going to enjoy the adventure of my life. And you can save that. If that doesn't make you comfortable, you can also write out a message to yourself and take a photograph of it. Or you can also make a quick recording on your phone, just of your voice, declaring that intention. And the reason that all of these things are important is that it just makes a big difference to not only declare these things, because when you write things down, when you say things, it really grounds them in becoming real for you. And it just taking the time to be clear about how you want to be present in your day as you. And it's so easy to lose track in the busyness and the overwhelm of, wait a minute, I have a certain way I want to be. I want to react on my terms. I want to do things that honor who I am. And so the next thing after you've done all these things, and one of the other reasons why this is so important to do that is that while you're doing all those things, fear is just hanging around, waiting to step in and give you all sorts of reasons why, oh, you want to speak up at that, but maybe today's not a good day, or you don't really feel that well, or you're not quite sure what you want to say. Maybe you'll wait for that, or maybe you want to try something new. Well, maybe that's tomorrow. Let's not do that. Let's do something more fun today. And so it's so easy in the morning, and I think we all know this, when we wake up and you feel good, and then all of a sudden that to-do list gets activated, as well as all your worries and fears. And it changes the whole dynamic of your day when you let that be the focus. So now that you have maybe your video or your picture or your recording, the next thing I like to do is I like to give fear a job, because part of what fear is doing is that fear is uncomfortable with when you want to change. And so if you make fear comfortable with what you're doing, that softens the voice of fear. So what I suggest doing is you you make a note on your calendar, maybe in a couple of places, so that you get a notification, and maybe you do it 3 times during the day. And you can even write these things in your calendar if you don't want to do the videos or things, but that at 3 different points in the day, you look at that video or you look at what you wrote in the calendar and you remind yourself that you don't want to get lost in the busyness and the overwhelm of your day. You want to be you, you want to be brave, and you want to enjoy the adventure of your life and not have it disappear in everybody else's story and everybody else's demands on you. And so having those reminders not only makes fear more comfortable with what you're doing, but it also makes you more comfortable with fear, because fear is always going to be there. There's no question about it. And the other morning, I was talking about painting because I'm also an artist, and I was talking about how I have to procrastinate for a while before I eventually go down and face the fact that I have this empty canvas that I have to paint, and I have to trust myself, and I have to believe that something's going to come out that on that canvas that I want. And this the person I was talking to said, "Well, that sounds so stressful. It sounds uncomfortable." And I said, "I'm not uncomfortable at all. I understand that I want to do something that is activating my fears. And I understand what that's all about. And so it might take me a little time to, procrastinate and do some other things before I get around to doing what I'm doing. But really, I have learned, because of bravery and because of being brave enough, that I trust myself. I know I'm going to go and paint that painting. And so I have become more comfortable with understanding what fear is doing. And I'm more comfortable with knowing why fear is doing what it's doing. So that another thing that I suggest is that you make a list of your excuses and your fears, because your excuses can be, I'm overwhelmed, I need to procrastinate, I'm doing all these things. And those are also autopilot responses. So you want to look at those things and realize whether that's really fear stopping you from doing what you want to do, or if it's just the normal procrastination that you need because you need to take some time to prepare yourself. And the same thing with fears is, if you write a list of your fears and you just keep them handy, that taking a look at that every once in a while reminds you that a lot of those fears are things that you have created yourself. There's nothing to be afraid of. And you can even go through, well, what's the worst thing that can happen if this fear came true? But a lot of times it's about just getting in your own way. And there is nothing to be afraid of, except that you're doing something that's unknown. You don't know the outcome, but it's always worth it to take the risk. And as I often say, the risk is not taking the risk. But understanding fear and all these things has a huge impact in softening the voice of fear and softening what often stops you, when what you really want to do is be you and enjoy your life and go. And so what it really comes down to is that bravery, once I discovered bravery, what happens when bravery becomes you, and this concept of shining and confidence and courage and charisma, those 3 things together are like a magic resource for keeping you in a place where you know that you feel good about what you want to do. Because bravery can seem like a scary thing, but really nothing feels better than being you, being brave. And the whole idea of charisma is that charisma is taking all the things that you have learned about yourself and all the things you want to share. And charisma gives you the power to share those things with impact. And there are so many things that you can develop with charisma. For instance, your empathy and your caring and your enthusiasm are all things that add to your charisma. And there's a whole science of your body language that can add to your charisma. But the biggest first thing to start for your charisma is confidence. And that bravery does yield that confidence, and practicing what you want to do over and over again creates that belief in yourself and makes that confidence possible. And that confidence, you can feel it. It creates a warm, positive feeling that feels good to share. And then, of course, that good, joyful feeling is what charisma is all about. And I always feel like once you experience that feeling of what it feels to shine and feel confident, that I also like to say, sometimes it's just time to share that shine so that other people can shine too. And I'd say that's something the world really needs today, is for everybody to feel good that they can shine in whatever way they want to and feel good about whatever they want to do. And that's what happens when bravery becomes you. And that's the end of my talk. And if you are interested, I would love to talk to you more about bravery and confidence and charisma. And there are so many tools you can use and so many mindsets that you can use to activate those things. And if you're interested, I also have a list of those steps that I take every morning. And if you send me an email, I would be glad to send those to you. So my parting words for you is, nothing feels better than being you, being brave. And so I hope you have a brave day and honor who you really want to be.
Oh, Sandy, thank you so much. I was watching the chat and people sharing things that really stirred them throughout. So I know that we're going to end the session now, but that's live, and go back into the group. First, I would just want to ask everyone to unmute themselves and give Sandy a hand, appreciation, some energy.
Mhm.
Thank
Nice
you.
to
Yeah, so thank you. And I will then end. Oh, one thing, realize I'm stepping in as host today. So thanks everyone for your patience. I'm going to say thank you to anyone who's watching this live, watching replay. If you'd like to join us for one of our 9 free Zoom gatherings a month, or an in-person in Columbia, Maryland, Richmond, Virginia, or Tallahassee, Florida, comment below and Ginny will come back and tell you how to do that. You can also go to opwgc.com and that'll be in the comment section also, and find out all about our community. That link is also in the text of this video. And thanks. And I also want to say, even though these aren't in the notes that Ginny said, that this will be on the YouTube channel of On Purpose Woman Global Community. So if you haven't been there, go and see this talk once it's uploaded, and also the other talks that are available. So thank you, Sandy. And I'm looking for the logistics. I know there's a place. Stop in the live stream. Thanks, everyone.